private, government, and R&D divisions across South Asia for various solutions and products. He has nearly 10 years of experience in tech and SaaS organization and is now currently working as Turnitin senior specialist with South Asian countries. With this brief introduction of him, I request him to take over the session. Will we start now? Akshay?
Thank you so much, sir.
Please take over the session. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. It's an indeed pleasure to be part of PS Mandya with this kind of events. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Sriram, sir. Anyway, I hope my voice is audible. There are two ways you can communicate with me or any questions to the organizers also. Either you can unmute yourself, which I don't recommend right now, but maybe you can use the chat box to drop all your questions. In case if you have anything that you want to discuss, we can have it at the end of the session and I can answer all those questions what is pertaining to your queries. So the learning objectives for today is what is academic misconduct with related to plagiarism? How do you define plagiarism? What is text similarity and what is plagiarism? And how do you use this as a formative tool? And there is a lot of difference between plagiarism and text similarity. No tool in the world can give you a plagiarism report. So how do you give this kind of reports into a plagiarism and which is not considered to be plagiarism? And how do you apply some feedback and help your students to write original work is what we're going to talk about. And how to use the tool, just a brief how you can make use of this tool also. For people who wants to get into in detail training program, there is a tool in Turnitin called as Turnitin Feedback Studio. There are multiple tools in Turnitin. There is Turnitin Originality Check, there is Authenticate, there is Grade Scope, there is Draft Coach. There are multiple tools. Each institutions, depending on their requirement, they have procured a lot of tools. If I go to IITs, NITs, IIMs, and few other predominant institutions who do use Turnitin in day-to-day activities, they use Feedback Studio because they can share their feedback with their students. I'm going to demonstrate this tool today pertaining to what requirement you have, you can align accordingly. So if I am going to Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary, plagiarize means if I'm using someone's work, or if I've stolen someone's work, or if I pass someone's idea as my own idea, it will lead to plagiarism. Without giving a credit, without giving a citation to anyone, it's kind of a literacy theft for anybody. So to present this new original idea or kind of thought process, you need to have some base knowledge. So the base knowledge can come from anywhere. And if you have taken from someone else, you need to cite it. You need to give credit to it. If not, you will lead to plagiarism. So that is what plagiarize means. When it comes to academic integrity, there are 6 fundamental factors that everyone follows: trust, responsibility, fairness, courage, respect, honesty. So academic integrity in the sense, have I managed my integrity? Have I followed some ethics? Have I not copied from anyone? If I have copied, have I given credit? All this comes in picture when it comes to academic integrity. So this is very much important for each and every individual to have an idea about it. So to develop a culture of academic integrity, the best advice that we would give it to all the students is to start early. What happens in these stages is I'll finish all my thesis and I come at the end and I'll check the similarity then you don't have time to rework on your thesis to avoid plagiarism or reduce the similarity index percentage. So if you are starting early, that would be the best way to start any kind of academic integrity related. It might be thesis, it might be any article publication, it might be anything which is related. So if there's enough time, you have enough time to recover or rework on your documents and resubmit also. So it's a complete journey to make use of it. Of a real world examples, there are a lot of examples that we can illustrate with related to the consequences. And also, if you have to avoid plagiarism, time management plays a vital key in this. That's one more very important process. So same time, please have a guide's responsibility also and student responsibility also. If I am a student, I have to have guides touch all the time, and vice versa. Guide should also be equally responsible to help the students. If not, if the student is plagiarized, guide is equally responsible. That's what UGC norm says. So you need to have an idea about it also all the time. When your student or you gets into plagiarism, how does it affect for your institution and for an individual? If it's an individual, that is, if it is me or you or anyone, if your literacy theft is unattended, it will lead to more cheating. Okay, no one is finding out. Okay, I'll copy more. That is what literacy theft is all about. But if someone is catching hold of you, then you will lead to plagiarism. So be aware that before sending it to any publication, before publishing in any kind of journal, conference, or thesis submission, you need to have a check about it. Failing to this will lead to authentic learning. Like, you will not learn what is required for you. Your original writing will do. And if you are caught, your reputation is under stake. A lot of people will not be able to get promotions. They'll not be able to enjoy their accomplishments. And it will be very unsecure situation for anyone. If it is an institution, for example, if there is any institutions in the world, it will lead to reputation understanding. More than the student name, institution name comes in picture. So what happens is, they'll not remember Akshay Prasanna, but my name, affiliated institution, everyone, this and this institution student was plagiarized. So a lot of institutions, universities tied up to have these kind of best tools. The reason is the university name, the institution name should not be spoiled for anything. That will lower the standards. They'll not be able to enjoy any accomplishments. They'll not be able to tell that this many publications happened, and the whole environment is broken. So people will not lead, the admissions rate may come down. All these things are effects of plagiarism. Why does your students get into plagiarism? They won't notice, first of all, what they have copied is plagiarized. The second thing is, they don't know what is plagiarism. They have run out of time, then they lead to copying. They'll copy from their peers, they copy from their previous publications, or from any kind of textbooks, journals, or whatever it is. That will lead to improvement. The worst one is, it has been told from school, is that I can improve my mark only if I write what is there in textbook. So that's the Indian way of teaching that has built from years. So if I got that I can improve my mark, then only people will start copying. That will lead to plagiarism very easily, because it is already published and it will lead to plagiarism. They didn't realize what is copying is bad. That's why it leads to. So these are the few reasons that we find out that is very important, and that is leading to plagiarism. Most of the Turnitin tools has grammatic check. The best example is the small punctuations will change the whole sentence. Here, one small comma will make whole lot of difference here. So you need to have grammatic understanding also. We are non-English speaking countries. We lead to grammatic mistakes when it comes to English. So there are tools like ETS, E-Rater, and Turnitin. There is Draft Coach. There is citation tools which helps in Draft Coach, which will help you to understand what are the grammatic mistakes that you do. And also you will be able to correct it and submit it again. So punctuations are also very important. That's one of the examples. So when I come to levels of rejections, there are a lot of rejections that happens depending. The very rarest one is instant rejections. That is happening only with extremely poor quality of paper. That's the very rare cases. But most of the time, it is not revised or suggested as the reviewer board says, or the review editorial team says. Then if you don't do it, then the paper might get rejected because they would have given you. But at the most of the cases, majority of rejection happens at the peer review. So peer review is where we have to be very careful. So the subject or anything that we have written on should be adjunct to original writing. If I'm not adjunct to original writing, and if you're just trying to paraphrase everything, it will easily lead to plagiarism, because the idea or concept is behind that also. There's one more key thing if I talk about paraphrasing also. If I am doing any kind of paraphrasing, I do cite it also. The reason is, I might be rewriting it in a different way, but it is not my own idea. Plagiarize means you are copying someone's idea, but you are reiterating it in a different way. Is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing will also lead to plagiarism. So if you have not given citation to it, so please give citation. Paraphrasing in the sense from first line till last line, I cannot keep paraphrasing everything. So that is not the key thing at all. So what do reviewers look for in your document? How is the hypothesis? What are the key results? It all happens in the presentation of results. But when it comes to discussions and conclusions, there are few things. How is the theoretical development? Is the speculations are grounded? Is the links of the literature are made very clear? So these are the few things that comes to discussions and conclusions also. So when I talk about Turnitin, before publishing, you check in Turnitin. Before checking in before checking in Turnitin or before going to publication, you need to have some recommender also. There is something called as journal recommenders. Every publisher has these kind of journal publication recommenders, I can call it. So you need to check which journal you can publish, which conference you can publish, which ebook you can publish. With knowing that, your rejection rate will reduce. Without that, your rejection rate might increase. Wrong selection of journal will lead to rejection. And also the norms. If journal says 10% is the similarity acceptance rate, you can see the same thing in Turnitin. If it is the same, then you are pretty much confident to publish the same. So you will be able to check all these things in journal recommenders, which is really helpful for you. The difference between plagiarize or plagiarism and text similarity is something which is ideas of someone's words or text you're copying and producing it in without crediting the source, as I said earlier. That is plagiarism. Text similarity is something when I have written an article, when I come to a tool called like Turnitin, it will give me a similarity match like this in the form of highlight, which is nothing but similarity. What people will think and normally assume is, okay, this text is highlighted. Akshay, how is this plagiarized? This is not plagiarism. This is telling you there is a similarity between your document and others' document. You can correct it, you can rewrite it, you can change it, however you want, you can do it. That is what is all about this. So what are the other expected similarities in Turnitin that you might find is, one is quoted materials. You can use the filter and reduce it. There is references and citations. References and citations are also can be excluded with bibliographic materials exclusion. So quoted materials, how does it get excluded? Only if you use double quotes. So what do you mean by double quotes? Double quotes can be used to exclude that certain phrase or sentence. This is only for standard statements and definitions. For example, the capital of Australia is Canberra. Newton's law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. How do I give citation? The law only says it is Newton's law. So for these kind of cases, I will put something in double quotes. That is what is called as quoted materials exclusion. So Turnitin is one of the predominant. We are having about 1,200 to 1,300 institutions in India and South Asia. When it comes to globally, more than 19,000 institutions are using it. On a daily basis, if I say per second, we generate at least 20 reports. And the busiest day, we have generated million report also. So that is what the submissions happens with across the globe. And if you go to any kind of databases that Turnitin crawls under scholarly publications, about 82 million scholarly articles and books are covered here. 92 million online and offline subscription content is covered. Internet also about 91 billion. Archive and current web pages are covered. Also custom databases, which we have like ProQuest thesis repositories and other things are covered accordingly, like Shodh Ganga and other things. That's why Turnitin is widely used, because one of the biggest databases, one exclusive database is Crossref database that Turnitin uses. Turnitin is all our flagship products like PFS, Authenticate, everything has this Crossref database, which is covering 50 million journals, which is with STM publishers. These STM publishers are from Elsevier, Springer, Wiley, EEE, etc., and etc., which is exclusive with Turnitin. So if you use Turnitin, we can rest assured that you have the best similarity percentage. And if your acceptance rate as per UGC norms, if I take it as 10%, if I take it as per VTU, it is 25%. So if it is below 10% similarity is what's shown in Turnitin, you can confidently publish your thesis. You can confidently submit your thesis with respect to the work that you have done and have you cited properly also. That also has to be keenly chosen. This is how the similarity report looks like. The 5% is the same document, 30% is also the same document. Why there is differences? This has been used to use the filter like quoted material exclusion and bibliographic exclusion. This has not been used. That's why citations are shown, common facts, quotes, all these are shown as similarity. It is also showed as 30% of similarity. So you need to use proper filter however you want. So to have a holistic support in academic integrity, we Turnitin recommend you to have a defined policy. There is defined policy in UGC, that is 10% is similarity acceptance rate, excluding bibliographic materials, excluding quoted materials, threshold of words is 40. That is UGC policy. If I come to VTU, it is 25% of acceptance. So 20, if I'm not wrong, sorry, if there's some mistakes, please cross-check once. 25% of acceptance, excluding bibliographic materials, excluding quoted materials, threshold of words is 5 words. So there are different kinds of policy. If I'm going to Elsevier, there might be 7 words or 8 words. If I'm going to Springer, it might be 10 words or something. So every journal has their own publication recommending. So this is the acceptance rate we have. We are going to exclude bibliographic materials or not. Are we going to exclude quoted materials or not? You will be able to identify all those things. So defined policy is very important. And that defined policy should be created as an awareness among the student community, teaching community also. If you have this, you will be able to educate your students. Where do you cite it? Which has to be cited, which has to be paraphrased, which has to be quoted. And by doing all this, you will be able to protect your institutional and your university policies or standards of your institutions also. So that's why this is the best way of having academic integrity. If you don't know the policy, and using Turnitin will be a difficult task. So please know the policy first, then use the tool very effectively. So what you can do in Turnitin? So Turnitin has a lot of feasibilities. One tool that we have is Turnitin Feedback Studio. What other tool that is similar to Turnitin is Turnitin Originality Check, and Turnitin Feedback Studio is quite similar. All these products have administrator login, instructor login, and student login. Admin is one person in an institution who has a handhold of everything which is related to Turnitin. So he's a support team for Turnitin in that institutions. Okay. In VTU, all the librarians are the administrators, but if it goes to some other institutions, it might be dean academics, it might be librarians, it might be someone else, principal, etc., etc. Some HODs are also sometimes. When the administrator comes in picture, they give access to instructors. Instructors are people who are faculties, HODs, anyone it can be, but it is teaching community basically who are tutors. Creating class and assignment lies at their end. They can give access to students. They can check students' documents also, their documents also. And once the student gets an access from the faculty, they can upload any document. They can check their similarity, and also self-join is an optional one. Self-join can happen only if the faculty is creating the class ID and enrollment. Only then it can. So these are the roles that Turnitin offers. In Feedback Studio, there is similarity report generation. You can do grade mark, and you can use ETS e-rater for grammatic check. These are there. If you have Turnitin Originality Check Plus, you don't get grade mark, you get these two. If you have Turnitin Originality Check only, you get only similarity report. So 3 products has 3 differences. So some products doesn't have grade mark, some products doesn't have grade mark and ETS e-rater, but all our products has similarity report generation, which is really important. There is one more tool called Authenticate and Turnitin Similarity. They have administrator and user rules. So the suggested workflow for Turnitin is, first thing that everyone has to say is there any flags? We have an indicator called as flags, which will tell you whether the student has used any hiding related things. Like for example, if the text is highlighted, if any special characters are highlighted or hidden, for example. If I hide something, that will be shown as flags. Characters, text, whatever is hidden, it will be shown as flags. So hidden characters you can identify with flags. That is the first thing that you have to see in the report. Then you have to see whether there is any quotes or references. So you will be able to see any quotes or references like this, which is very, very important. Then comes if you have any matches. So then you have to see whether there is intentional plagiarism or unintentional plagiarism. What is intentional plagiarism? I know this is copied, but still I replicate the same text in my document is intentional plagiarism. Unintentional plagiarism is something where I have not copied from anyone, but I've written on my own. But you never know there is someone else who has published the same article. That is unintentional plagiarism. So I might have to check similarity and then correct myself. So when I do this, then I'll be able to continue the grading feedback as usual and continue. So that is how you are supposed to do. And Turnitin also offers you to integrate with any LMS in your ecosystem. So these are the few offerings that we do. Microsoft Teams is available with only a couple of products, but rest all is available with all of our products. So now I'll take you to the report and show you how the report looks like. Basically, it will tell you how the similarity percentage is, what features are there and other things. That's very much important. So this is the tool that is there. First, I will see if there is any flags. Okay, there is no flags. The student has no hidden text, no replaced characters. I'm good to go here. Then I'll go for filters. Have I done the right filters? Okay, excluding bibliographic materials. And see, just to give you a glimpse, if I don't do anything, will this 9% increase? Yes, it has gone to 10%. Now let me exclude it manually, and then instead I'll use UGC norms, 14 words of exclusion. When I do this, let me see what is the percentage, then 9% of similarity shown. So I have to see these two things first. One is flags, then filters, then I'll come to similarity match. So the first one, it is from this source. Okay. So only these words are shown as similarity. Okay, I didn't copy anything. Why is it shown as similarity? Might be the question. You can see this tab here, which is shown as full text view or full source view. When you click on this box, you will be able to see what is the similarity that is matching. Only this text, no, if you can keep scrolling, there are a lot of other text that has been taken from this source. So you will be able to see all those things. Like this, you will be able to go to many other sources and you will be able to see. So, and also if some text is saved in repository, you can see here it is shown, it is also copied from IIT students, one of the students document, the text is matching. That is also shown as similarity. So you need to see this very, very important. That is how I'm supposed to do it. If I have to reduce it, I'll rewrite it in a different way or paraphrase it and cite it. Or if this person is much better than me, I'll read his article and give citation to him. So that's how you're supposed to do. Not everything will show full text. See here, the submitted file is not showing full text. If you want to see the full text of this student who has written in your subject area, click on that and send a request. If you send a request, if they approve, you will be able to see the full text view of that thing. So that's how you are able to see the context of the other person who has worked in your subject area, which is very, very important and very, very useful also. If you want to exclude something, you can come to this tab, which is all sources tab, and you can exclude whatever you want. But I don't recommend this most of the time because you don't have to exclude anything. If your percentage is less than 10%, it's good enough. Anything and anywhere it gets accepted. Right now, few people across, because it's a general webinar, I just wanted to bring this up. Not everyone will see this blue color icons. This is feedback mechanism. If I am a faculty and if I'm giving any feedback to my students, there are few kind of feedbacks that is already existing in Turnitin. So for example, composition related feedback, I have to give it to my students. So for example, this needs a topic, I'll drag and drop. The transition is weak, I'll drag and drop. So I can give a student and download this report and give it to students. All my feedback will be there. And also if there is anything that URL that student has to refer to, I'll mention this refer the given URL. Because I'm telling the students to read some URL. So I'll tell them www.google. I'm just giving an example. What you can do here is you can go to the specific URL, copy that URL and save it. So it will show us faculty has given a comment here. Student will go to that comment and they'll read it. But some cases, what happens, faculty wants their own text to be written accordingly. So you can click anywhere that you want to give your comment, use this text annotation tool and start typing. Start typing the related text, whatever it is. Sorry for the typo. Okay, so you will be able to do this like this, and you can delete it, you can drag and drop it anywhere, you can delete it at any point of time. This is text annotation tool. So this is not there with everyone. This is only comes with our flagship product called as Turnitin Feedback Studio. Along with this, there is voice comments where you can record a 3-minute voice, and also you can give a comments however you want. There is also a rubric to give feedback. Depending, you can create your own rubric. So for example, I can give related to idea, I can give related to topic, I can give related to details, and it will calculate to whatever points that I want to give, 25 points, 10 points, 15 points. When I click on apply grade, it will calculate about. Very simple. If I have to check grammatic mistakes, you can click on this ETS e-rater. Most of our customers has this ETS e-rater feasibility, who are using TOC Plus, who are using the Turnitin Feedback Studio. You can click on ETS e-rater. It will right now this process, this paper, it's not processing, but you will be able to see the ETS e-rater for grammatic check also. It will show you SP error is there, your full stop is missing, commas are missing, quotes are missing, all these things you will you maybe from adverb to verb is missing. So all these things you will be able to tell, and it will allow you to comment also. That is ETS e-rater. Once you do all these things, can you download this document to use it offline? There is this download option. You can use 3 types of download. Current view report is the in detail report, which gives you a detailed report, which will tell you where exactly the similarity is, where you can check the similarity percentage, and what is highlighted, from which source it is matching. All these things comes with current view report. There is one more called as digital receipt, which will give you 1-page document, which will tell you who is the author, what is the document title, and other things. So that is digital receipt. I don't recommend digital receipt most of the time. The best thing that I always recommend is current view report, which will give you an in-detail report. Original submitted file will give you the same old PDF or Word file submitted by your students. That will really help you to understand very well, because in case if the student has done some matches, you can open the Word file, Control A, black color, all the hidden characters will pop up. There is one more. If the file is very long and if you want to download something, you can use text only report here. So the moment you click on text only report, it will be able to give you HTML report. This HTML report is very useful, and you can download this HTML report at any point of time. Most of them, they try to have both 2 types of reports, because HTML report will have Turnitin originality report symbol. So you can download this also at any time. I'll show you how the report looks like. First one, let's see current view report, how it looks. So this is current view report, So this is the document title, this is the author name, and you can scroll down everything. So once you come down at the bottom of the page, you will be able to see the similarity percentage. 9% similarity, from internet sources, from student papers, how much it is. Don't add up to this. This is not addition of these 3. Uniqueness also will be calculated and will show you the similarity, because what is there in internet sources might be there in publication. What is there in publication might be there in student papers. So you will get the uniqueness of the text. And also it will tell you, have you excluded bibliographic materials? Have you excluded quoted materials? What was the threshold of words? On in the sense you have excluded, off in the sense you have not excluded. This is very useful for students. And also if you have Feedback Studio, page-wise comment. So you see in the page 1, we commented something. So it is showing in page 2, page 1, what comments have been given by the faculty. Very useful for a better understanding. Okay. So when you scroll down, you will be able to see the rubrics also accordingly. So this is how you get a detailed report, whereas digital receipt will be shown as this way. Digital receipt will be shown as this way. Now, coming to the key area, these are our reports, analysis of reports and other things. So you will be able to see it at any point of time. You will be able to use it at any point of time. But if you want to check any documents, how do you do it? As I said, there are 3 types of login: administrator login, instructor login, and student login. In the homepage of Turnitin, the first thing that you have to see is how have you created a class. Always create multiple classes. Class 1 should be in class 1, class 2 students to be checked in class 2. For example, EC first year students should be checked in first year class, second year students should be checked in second year class, third year students should be checked in third year class. So it should go class wise. If you have your own research, have a class like my research, my thesis, my project, whatever it is. So you will be able to see multiple classes like this. Something that you are not using anything which is not useful for you, you can delete those classes also at any point of time. So for example, I don't want this class, I can click on delete and I can remove that class also. Very simple. First step that you have to do for any similarity check is you have to create a class. Like this add class, you can create two types of classes: standard class, master class. Standard class is something I create a class, I create an assignment, and I check the documents. Master class is something where I have a teaching assistant also, which is called as TA, and you can do it. Once your class is created, you can go to that class and you can create an assignment. Your assignment creation is one step. You can click on add assignment. Here there is paper assignment and peer mark. You will get only paper assignment. Only if you have feedback studio, you get peer mark assignment. So when you go to paper assignment, it's a generic assignment. That's a assignment is the title, but you have to do this step to check any documents. Okay. So that is the primary thing. So I'll click on this next step. So my assignment is getting created. I'll give the assignment title, assignment points, assignment start date, assignment due date. I'll also give all the settings that I have to do. And also they'll give optional settings where I can use what filters I was supposed to do, all those things. So assignment title, for example, if I give it as PS now, and then I can give point value 10, I can give it 100 also. To what points I have to measure, those things will be done here. There is start date when the assignment is starting. There is due date when the assignment should be ending. Okay, post date where I can share my feedback. So this is not there with everyone. Only with Feedback Studio you will get post date. Optional settings is very useful. You can give all kinds of optional settings. For example, I want the students to give only MLA format of citation. MLA format of citation are only accepted. Okay, I'm telling MLA format of citation are only accepted. And then there are a lot of things that I can give: a essay title, essay questions I can give. A lot of things can be given now. Also, you can choose here for very important similarity report generation should be yes. If you say no and you tell Akshay my report is not getting generated, that's because you've kept it as no. So you have to have the settings, read it, spend 5 minutes first time. You don't have to do it again and again. I'll tell you how you can do that. Generate similarity report for submission. You can do it 3 ways. First report is final if you want only one submission from your student. If you want the student to check multiple number of times, correct themselves, resubmit and recheck, then you can choose scan overwrite until due date. So this is the best option I feel. But if you don't want to give them multiple opportunities, use the first one. On due date, the report gets generated only on the due date. So 3 options, whichever is feasible, you can take it up. Exclude bibliographic materials is there. If I say yes, all the bibliographic materials gets excluded. What do you mean by bibliographic materials here? All your citations, references, works cited, footnotes, all this gets excluded if you say yes, automatically for the whole class or whatever students that you're checking. Quoted materials I've explained to you, only double quoted. Small sources, you can choose. This will be no. Only if you say yes, this word will come. If it is UGC norms related, I'll give 14 words. So related to that, you can do it. And other students to see similarity, your choice. There is translated matching for Feedback Studio, which will tell you whether your student has copied from Chinese, Japanese, French, and if they've converted to English, and if they've submitted, this is my project, this is my thesis, this is my article, you will be able to identify that also in translated matching. Anonymous marking is not there. It is at the beta stage, so you can ignore that. It is basically not to show any student name. Submit papers to, please keep no repository, everyone. This is the biggest challenge that we get from everyone, that they keep it in standard repository, and when they check the same document second time, it will show 100%. Or if you send it to any university also, it will show as 100%. So always check your documents with no repository. Only thing that you don't want to publish or you're not sending anywhere, then you keep it in standard repository so that your document is secure and it will show as student paper of PS, student paper of IIT, student paper of NIT, IIT, whatever it is. So you can keep it as. is these institutional repository and student choice repository are only available with our flagship product, Turnitin Feedback Studio. Institutional paper repository will help this comparison whether the student has copied in between the institution. In between, if I've copied in between my friend circle, I'll be able to catch my student also. That is how institutional repository works. Student paper, these are repository options. Everything should be covered. So Turnitin covers all this: current and archive, institutional, student choice, and also periodicals. Grading, I have spoken about it. Then ETS rater will be no. You have to select it as yes. Then you can choose what level of English you want to carry, what kind of dictionary that you want to carry, and spelling will be default deselected. Select this option. And if you select would like to have the same settings for future assignments, then any of your settings will be the same. So you don't have to create this all the time, and click on just submit, you're done. Your class gets created. You can see your PS is created. Now you can just click on view, and you can upload, submit any file that you want. I have already 2 students, but if I want to add more students, I'll click on student, and I'll click on add student, and I'll give the first name, last name, and email ID of the student. That student will also be added to my class. If I want to send it to the whole class, I can upload student list. Up to 99 students can be added in one go by having this Excel sheet. Column A first name, column B last name, column C email ID. If I have this Excel sheet, when I click on upload, and when I upload, the whole class will get an assignment. If not, what you can also do is give this class ID and enrollment key to the student. Enrollment key is basically password that you have created. If you don't recall, you can go to this cog icon here and click on edit, and then you can give the enrollment key. So when you have this class ID and enrollment key and give it to students, they can go to their login if they have login. For example, now Kudan Rama sir has a class, or he has a class, the same class I am taking. So what we will do is, he has already given access to student. I'll give only class ID and enrollment key. The student will go to their login. You can see here, this is student login. Click on enroll in a class. Give the class ID and enrollment key given to the faculty, and they'll enroll themselves. Now, what we created a new assignment under my research was, there is something called as PES we created here. So can you see submit option is there? The student will click on submit. The names are freezed. Student cannot change the names. Faculty can change the names. I mean, faculty can have to individually type the names and upload it. And also they can do single file or cut and paste. They give the submission title, and they'll choose from computer. And they can take any documents, open, and then upload. That's all. So this is how the student submits, very easily, very simple. The student can also do the resubmit. I'll show you if you have given an option. So you can see here how many documents, how many words are there, how many characters are there, everything it will tell you. As a faculty, as a students, both ways. So once they submit, if they have to do some changes, and they can do the resubmit option also. For all the reports that is already generated, they can click on view. So they'll be able to see what feedback is being given by their faculty, and they'll be able to see what are the comments that is given by the faculty also. See here, view rubrics, instructor feedback, they'll be able to see the rubrics also. So very simple, very useful. However they want, they can see it. However they want, they can use it also accordingly. So it's fairly simple tool, fairly useful. At any point of time, you can make use of this. So you can submit, you can download as a student also. As an instructor, if you go to the same class, my research, you will be able to see the student submission in PS. So when I click on view, you can see here the similarity report is already generated. You can get into this report for a student, and you can give a comment, you can call the students, you can tell them, or you share your feedback here itself. So I didn't show ETS rater earlier. So when I click on ETS rater, let me show if I can generate for this report. If there is no glitch, it will show. So you can see here, this is how the ETS rater. SP error. There is a spelling error. This word is misspelled, use a dictionary, it says. So faculty can give the right word. So here also, and if there is any other error, it will show. You may need to add a hyphen between these two words. That's why it is showing. So it is up to you whether you want to do it or not. It will give you the grammatic mistakes. That's how ETS rater works. So these are the things that you can make use of Turnitin. There's very important thing that I wanted to show you is some students try to cheat at some point of time. If you go to some reports, it will give you a caution sign like this. If they have used any kind of hidden characters, it will show you Turnitin has flagged this paper for using unusual word patterns. So those students are very carefully should be identified, and you should take a Word file and upload the file. This I'll show you an example also. Some caution sign is because bibliography materials are excluded and you have a lot of bibliographic materials, that's why. Some also there are quoted material exclusion might be there. So quoted material exclusion also will replicate. See, this Arvind PDF is 2%. Arvind word is 87. This will be the last example that I'll show. So when I clicked on 87% of similarity, the report is showing is 87. Okay, everything is highlighted. Chapter 1, introduction, wireless sensor networks, etc., is there. So now the same document, Arvind PDF, if I open it is 2% of similarity. The same document it is, I'll show you the best understanding about it also. You can see here, same chapter 1, introduction, project description, wireless sensor networks, only 2%. How is it possible? So when I click on this flags, it will show there is hidden text. When you click on the hidden text, you can see this student, for every word, he has added I in the starting, I in the end, they have colored it white, which will not show. But just to avoid similarity, they don't know that faculty can identify this also. Faculty has this visibility to identify. Don't get cheated at some point of time, you can identify. But for a student also, this is not, you can escape. Tomorrow, anyone can catch hold of you and anyone can claim it is plagiarized. So there is no word in the world called I consists I. So that's how it is. There are out of 10,000 letters that student has added everywhere just to avoid similarity. So you can identify this at any point of time and make use of this tool and have a better understanding. By mistake, if any of your documents have gone to standard repository and it is showing 100%, you have to get it deleted. Do not select like this and delete it, okay? If you do that, only from your account it gets deleted. You have to share this paper ID with your administrator. Administrator will send an email to our support team and then it will get deleted. So that's a standard way of deleting. If you don't share this paper ID, then your document doesn't get deleted from standard repository and it will continue to show 100% similar. So this paper ID, without this, if you give your name, your title, your email ID, we can't identify. The algorithm is like that. Only by this unique paper ID, we can identify you, that's all. So have this deletion. I don't require any kind of deletion. So there are a lot of things more you can see in Turnitin. So if your student doesn't have any idea about plagiarism or how to cite and other things, they can go to their account. There is something called as what is plagiarism. They can go to this URL. This is very useful URL. You can make use of it. I'm dropping this URL in the chat box. You can make use of it like this. This is one of the very useful URL. What is plagiarism? And then there is citation help. So citation, there are a lot of citation tools also, but just to have an understanding about it, you can make use of this also, which is citation related tool. And related to citation, there is some kind of understanding. There is a link that I've shared it. So anyone can make use of it. Also, there are a lot of ways you might not recall whatever I've spoken. At any point of time, you need a recap of it. On right-hand side, top of the page, there is something called as help section. So if you go to this help section, there is a Turnitin help. You can integrate with our help section also. And if you want anything that is related to instructor login, student login, or admin login, come click on Turnitin website. There are user guides for all three. Whichever category that you fall under, you can click on those category and you will know what is TA is, what is Google single sign-on, how do you do it, how do you create a class, everything is there. If you have any questions related to specific thing, for example, bibliography, you don't have something. So you can click on bibliography. So it will tell you what are bibliographic materials, what kind of text that gets excluded in bibliography. All those things will be shown in this result tab. So have this. This is really useful for everyone. Go to help section. This is going to give you brief understanding about it. So these are the things that you can make use of in Turnitin. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Further to this, there are different color coding that Turnitin will help you to understand. So blue will always be 0% bracket. Green is 1 to 24, yellow is 25 to 29, 50 to 74, 75 to 100. So these color codes are reflected in the tabs like this. So for example, if I go here, if I click on any of this assignments, so you can see a red, orange, yellow, etc. So that's how it shows like this. Okay. So our help section is there. I can share quick start guides at any point of time. There is help.turnitin.com for help guides. And also you can get into Turnitin administrator in your institution for any kind of professional services. Or also one more very important thing is do not share your user ID and password with anyone. If you share, all your checks will be available to them. And also do not pay for anyone to check your documents. We don't give individual subscription also. There are some people who says 200 rupees, 100 rupees, I'll get your document checked. They might check your documents and you might lose your content also. You might end up putting it in standard repository and you will not be able to retrieve it or get it deleted because they don't have any hold of it. So please do not pay any amount to anyone. It is only institutional subscription. Individual checks goes only available in Authenticate. That is very expensive. So go to your institution subscriptions. You can check any number of documents. So there is no restriction. So do not pay anywhere. There might be loss of content or loss of data also for you. So please ensure your admin is looped in for any email conversations with Turnitin so that they have all the communications because they will be the approver for everything. So, and do not share the recordings also with anyone, just for your information. This is my mail ID, which is aprasanna@turnitin.com. TISupport@turnitin.com is our support mail ID. This QR code, if you open your camera and scan this, you will be able to share your feedback also. I'll open the forum for any kind of Q&A. And if there is anything that is updated in the chat box, I'll answer that as well. Okay. What are softwares for English? Software for English in the sense, even your Microsoft Word will also give you corrections for English mistakes. You can use that. And also when you use the tool, you will be able to find out how to purchase Turnitin software. Can individual buy and institution should buy? Most of the time it is institution. So if you have to procure any tool, you can write me an email. And if it is an individual, you can go to authenticate.com, but it is, you might feel it is expensive. Okay, I'm sorry, I was pretty fast, I guess. Okay, sorry for that. Grammarly and Turnitin is same or different? No, Grammarly is different. Grammarly doesn't have this repository. So Turnitin is 22-year-old organization. The academic integrity tools have been built from quite some time. Okay, so we have this tool which is really useful for student community and also for this teaching community also. We don't do grammatic check basically. We are similarity check tools. Grammatic check is an additional one which we do with ETS Erator. And can we download the flag in the whole report that is showing in the report? No, flags cannot be downloaded. If you need flags or hidden text to be shown, then what you can do is, let me show you this. I have open my report. Okay, so there is no hidden text shown here, but when you click on this, you will see the hidden text. No, if you want to prove it to students, click on text only report. The text only report is there at the bottom of the page here where my cursor is shown. When you click on it, the text only report. Oh, I'm so sorry, I have to log in. So someone who forgets their passwords also can click on forget password and they can retrieve it. Oh, sorry. Let me show you. How come my login is failing? Pretty surprising for me also. It's working all this while. Okay, I'm pretty much surprised now. I'm not able to log into this. Let me go back to my 1 second. Maybe my VPN is not allowing. Let me cross check once. So any other questions, please drop it in the chat box, or please feel free to ask me. Okay, so finally here, I'll show you that example and then we can proceed. Okay, Arvind PDF, how can you download the flags? You go to text only. Once you open the report gets opened, and then you can click on text only report at the bottom of the page. Once you click on the text only report, so now you can see there is this I here, and you can download this. Whatever the hidden texts are there, it will be shown here in this text only. So that's the only way that you can identify. There's one more question. Is the administrator can analysis the percentage of similarity for submitted papers within specific period? Administrator cannot see any documents, whereas administrator account is specific for few things, only just to give access to students, access to faculties. When they click on instructor tab, they can give the access to faculties. They can go to stats tab and they can see the statistics also. So only these are available at the administrator level. So all that you can do is they can have the sub accounts also by instructor wise. They can create instructor login by clicking on add instructor and add and giving their first name, last name. Stats, basically, they'll be able to pull out the usage statistics. That's how they can do it. Because it is showing only in the first page flag. No, every page it will show. Wherever the flags are there, it will show. Whichever page it is, it will show you the flags in all the pages. So if it is there in the last page also, it will show you the flags that is there. So now I'm here, so it will show you here. Wherever it is there, it will show you. Wherever it is there, it will show you. Can you please share your slides? I'm not allowed to do that. I'll see if I can do that. Okay, I'll have to take some permission for that, but you might get the recording, I guess. Which is better, Authenticate or not? Both are same tools. There is no difference. Both are depending on your usage. See, where students comes in picture, they use this tool. R&D divisions like ISRO labs, CSIR labs, DST labs, publishers, they all use Authenticate. Publishers like Elsevier, Springer, for checking any of your documents, they use Authenticate. So both are same repositories. Both has same cross-ref content, posted content, internet archive web pages, ShodhGanga, ProQuest CC databases, etc., etc. So this databases remains the same. In fact, Turnitin has one extra repository called a student standard repository. So you get that option also. The login is different. The way that you want to use it, the methodology is different. That's all, nothing else. Here, the students and faculties are also involved. In Turnitin Feedback Studio, Turnitin Originality Check, Turnitin Similarity, Turnitin Originality, whereas in Authenticate is administrator and users, only two. The other tool that you are talking about doesn't give you this much percentage, but slowly you will hear from us down the lane. There is some thing that has happened up. It was on our website also. There might be chances of merging of these two organizations, ours and the organization that has been mentioned. Thank you so much, Welsi ma'am. It's request to coordinator, please share. Okay, yes, sir. Can you please send the PPTs of all sections? Let's see if I can do that. Will it check diagrams? No, diagrams are not checked. Block diagrams are checked. Images are not checked. Block diagrams, if it is not in JPEG format, only then it will show the similarity there. If it is there, if there is any text, basically is literature to literature text to identification. Literature to literature match is there, it will show. Text to text matching is there, it will show. So diagrams in the sense, no, if it is in JPEG, PNG, image files. So images are not checked. Images carry some kind of different kind of citation, which is copyright related. You need to give source index. You cannot give APA, BibTeX, MLA format of citation. Images should be given source index. So that's a complete way of, but you need to give citation in case if you have taken some copyright related images also. So these are the things which you can make use of it. I hope I've answered those questions also. Please feel free to write us an email. I wanted to share one more link which would be useful for you. Let me give you that link, which is educator program link. If you get a chance to log into that, please get into this educator program. This is really helpful. This will be really useful for you. This is the link. I'm going to drop it in my chat box. At any point of time, if you want to get into some insights, you can always, and we are conducting webinars at some point of time. If you want to have same kind of recap for any of our webinars, you can do it also. So if you follow us on LinkedIn, we can have some kind of updates that's happening with Turnitin also. All right, that's it from my end. If there's anything more I can answer, or else over to you, Kodandrama sir.
Yeah, thank you, Akshay. Thank you so much for your very interesting session on Turnitin. So this Turnitin software really helps a lot in improving the quality of the research materials. So you also done your demonstration really effectively. So it has made a good impact in the minds of our participants. Thank you for your enlightening session.
Thank you, sir.
Participants, still we have a time for this session. If you're having any questions or any clarifications to be made, kindly post your questions in the chat box. I think you have answered all the questions.
Yes, sir. I've answered all the questions.
Unanswered. Also, I'm thankful to you for sharing some of the useful links to our participants. I hope they will be referring to them.
Pleasure, sir. Pleasure.